My beloved child, listen carefully, because this message is not reaching you by accident. This is not just another random moment scrolling through your screen. This is a divine interruption, a powerful signal meant to shake something deep inside your soul, because there is a connection in your life that you have tried to understand, tried to escape, tried to ignore, and yet no matter how far you run, no matter how hard you try to distract yourself, it keeps pulling you back, and you keep asking yourself, why can't I let this person go? Why does their energy still live inside my heart? Why do I feel them even when they are not around? And the truth that you have been avoiding, the truth that has been whispering to your spirit, is this: you are dealing with a soul tie that was never meant to be ordinary. This is not just attraction, this is not just emotion, this is something deeper, something spiritual, something that has wrapped itself around your heart in a way that logic cannot break. And right now, God is not just watching this situation, God is testing your heart through it. And I know that makes you uncomfortable, because you thought love was supposed to be peaceful, you thought connection was supposed to be simple, but what you are feeling is intense, confusing, overwhelming, and at times even painful, because this bond is forcing you to confront parts of yourself that you never wanted to see. It is exposing your fears, your attachments, your wounds, and your deepest desires. And that is exactly why this is happening, because before God can elevate you, before your life can shift into the next level, something inside you must be purified, something inside you must be tested. And this connection, this unbreakable emotional and spiritual tie, is the fire that is revealing who you truly are. And right now you are standing at a crossroads, whether you realize it or not, because you have two choices. You can continue to chase what feels familiar, what feels emotionally addictive, what feels like it completes you even if it slowly drains your peace, or you can step back and ask yourself the hardest question of all: is this connection bringing me closer to my purpose, or is it pulling me away from it? And that question, my beloved child, is the test, because not every strong connection is meant to stay, not every intense feeling is meant to lead to a lifelong bond. Sometimes God allows you to feel something so deeply, so powerfully, that it shakes your entire being, not because it is meant to last forever, but because it is meant to transform you. And I know you don't want to hear that. I know a part of you is hoping that this person is your forever, that this connection is destiny, that all the pain and confusion will eventually make sense in a beautiful ending. But what if the real purpose of this connection is not to complete your story, but to change you? What if this soul tie exists not to bind you forever, but to teach you something that your soul needs before you can step into the life that is truly meant for you? And this is where the struggle begins, because your heart is attached, your emotions are invested, your mind keeps replaying memories, moments, words, and possibilities, and you feel like letting go would mean losing a part of yourself. And in a way you are right, because soul ties do not just connect you to another person, they intertwine identities, they blur boundaries, they make you feel like your happiness is somehow linked to their presence. And that is why breaking free feels almost impossible, because it is not just about walking away from them, it is about rediscovering who you are without them. And that is what God is trying to show you right now, that your identity, your worth, your purpose does not come from another human being. No matter how strong the connection feels, it comes from within, it comes from your relationship with Him. And until you understand that, until you truly feel that in your spirit, you will keep finding yourself trapped in cycles like this over and over again. Different faces, same emotional pattern, different names, same spiritual lesson, because the test is not about the person, the test is about you. The test is about whether you can choose yourself, your peace, your growth, your purpose, even when your heart is pulling you in another direction. And right now you might be feeling torn, you might be feeling like you are being pulled between what feels right and what feels good, between what you know deep down and what your emotions are screaming at you. And that Attention. That inner conflict is not a sign that something is wrong, it is a sign that something is being revealed inside you, because growth is uncomfortable. Transformation is not gentle, it shakes you, it stretches you, it forces you to see truths that you tried to avoid. And this connection, this soul tie, is acting like a mirror, showing you your patterns, your attachments, your fears of being alone, your desire for validation, your need for control. And until you face those things, until you sit with them and understand them, you will not be able to move forward the way you are meant to. And this is where many people fail this test, because instead of looking within, instead of asking what is this teaching me, they focus only on the other person. They analyze their behavior, their words, their actions. They try to figure out what they did wrong or what they can do to fix it. But the real question is not about them. The real question is, what is this revealing about you? What is this connection teaching you about your own heart, your own boundaries, your own sense of worth? Because the answer to that question is what will set you free, not their actions, not their decisions, not their presence or absence, but your understanding of yourself and your willingness to grow beyond what feels comfortable. And I need you to hear this clearly: just because a connection feels strong does not mean it is right for you. Just because you cannot forget someone does not mean they are meant to stay. Just because your heart aches for them does not mean they are your destiny. Sometimes the strongest ties are the ones that test you the most, the ones that challenge you to rise above your emotions and choose what is truly aligned with your higher purpose. And right now you are being called to make that choice, even if it hurts, even if it feels impossible, even if every part of you wants to hold on, because what is on the other side of this test is something greater than what you are clinging to right now. Something more aligned, something more peaceful, something that does not require you to lose yourself in order to feel connected. But you cannot reach that if you stay where you are emotionally bound to something that is not meant to carry you forward. And I know this is not easy. I know this is one of the hardest things you will ever have to face, because it is not just about letting go of a person, it is about letting go of a version of yourself that was tied to them. It is about stepping into the unknown, trusting that even without this connection you will be okay, that you will find something deeper, something more real, something that does not leave you questioning your worth or your place in someone's life. And that trust, that leap of faith, is what God is asking from you right now, not because He wants to take something away from you, but because He wants to give you something better, something that aligns with the person you are becoming, not the person you used to be. And the moment you truly understand that, the moment you stop seeing this as a loss and start seeing it as a lesson, everything will begin to shift inside you. Your perspective will change, your energy will change, your sense of self will begin to strengthen, and what once felt like an unbreakable tie will start to loosen, not because the connection was not real, but because you have outgrown the version of yourself that was bound to it. And that, my beloved child, is the moment you pass the test, not when the other person changes, not when circumstances magically align, but when you choose yourself, when you choose growth, when you choose to trust that what is meant for you will never require you to stay stuck in confusion, pain, and emotional dependency. And until you reach that point, this feeling, this pull, this soul tie will continue to test you again and again, until you finally see the truth that has been right in front of you all along, that you were never meant to be trapped in something that takes more from you than it gives you, and that your freedom, your peace, your purpose is waiting on the other side of the decision you are afraid to make right now. Why, beloved child, feel this deeply, because what you are experiencing right now is not just emotion, it is a spiritual pressure building inside you, a tension between who you have been and who you are becoming. And this is why the connection feels even stronger now. This is why the memories hit harder at night. This is why their absence feels louder than their presence ever did, because when God begins to shift your life when He begins to pull you toward a higher version of yourself. Every attachment that is not aligned starts to tighten its grip before it breaks, and that is where you are right now, in the tightening, in the confusion, in the emotional storm where part of you wants to release and another part refuses to let go. And this is the moment most people misunderstand, because they think the intensity means it is meant to stay. They think the pull means it is destiny. They think the pain means it is love. But my beloved child, not everything that feels powerful is meant to be permanent. Sometimes the intensity is the sign that something is reaching its end, not its beginning. And this is where the test becomes even more real, because now it is not just about awareness, now it is about action, now it is about whether you will continue feeding the connection through your thoughts, your attention, your energy, or whether you will finally begin to reclaim yourself piece by piece. Because every time you replay their voice in your head, every time you imagine scenarios that have not happened, every time you check for signs or wait for their return, you are strengthening the very tie that is keeping you stuck. And I know you do not do this on purpose. I know it feels automatic, like your mind just goes there without permission. But this is where your power lies, not in controlling the feeling, but in controlling what you do with it, because you cannot stop a thought from appearing, but you can decide whether you sit with it or let it pass. You cannot stop your heart from remembering, but you can decide whether you turn that memory into longing or into understanding. And this is the shift that will change everything for you. The moment you stop romanticizing what hurt you, the moment you stop giving meaning to what drained you, the moment you stop seeing this connection as something you lost and start seeing it as something you experienced and learned from, that is when the chain begins to break. And I need you to understand something even deeper. The reason this tie feels so unbreakable is not only because of them, it is because of what they represent in your life. They became a symbol of something you were searching for. Maybe it was love, maybe it was validation, maybe it was the feeling of being seen, understood, chosen, or valued in a way you had not felt before. And so when they came into your life, they did not just connect with you, they awakened something inside you, something that felt like home, something that felt like completion. And now that they are not fully present, your soul is not just missing them, it is missing the feeling they created within you. And that is why letting go feels like losing a part of yourself, because in your mind they are tied to that feeling. But here is the truth that will set you free: that feeling did not come from them, it was awakened through them, but it belongs to you, it exists within you, and God allowed this connection to activate it so that you could recognize it within yourself, not so that you would depend on another person to feel it again and again, because anything that comes from outside of you can be taken away. But what is built within you, what is discovered within you, becomes a permanent part of who you are. And that is what this experience is trying to give you: not a person to hold on to, but a version of yourself to step into. And the moment you truly accept that, the moment you stop chasing them and start choosing yourself, everything begins to shift in a way you cannot even imagine right now, because your energy changes, your focus changes, your standards rise, your boundaries become clearer, and suddenly the same connection that once controlled you no longer has the same power over you, not because it disappeared, but because you transformed. And this is what passing the test looks like. It is not dramatic, it is not loud, it is not a sudden moment where everything makes sense. It is quiet, it is internal, it is a slow realization that you deserve peace more than you desire chaos, that you deserve clarity more than confusion, that you deserve a connection that does not leave you questioning your worth, your value, your place in someone's life. And I know there is still a part of you that wonders, what if they come back, what if things change, what if this really was meant to be? And those questions are natural, they are part of the process, they are part of your heart trying to make sense of something that felt so real. But do not Let those questions trap you. Do not let them keep you waiting. Do not let them stop you from moving forward, because if something is truly meant for you, it will not require you to stay stuck in uncertainty. It will not require you to pause your life, your growth, your happiness just to keep a possibility alive. What is meant for you will meet you in clarity. It will meet you in alignment. It will meet you when you are standing fully in your power, not when you are shrinking yourself to hold on to something that is not fully choosing you. And that is why God is testing your heart right now, not to hurt you, not to confuse you, but to strengthen you, to prepare you, to show you that your worth is not tied to anyone's presence, your value is not dependent on anyone's attention, and your future is not limited by this one connection, no matter how strong it feels in this moment, because there is something greater waiting for you, something that aligns with the person you are becoming, but you cannot receive it if your hands are still holding on to what you were never meant to keep. And I know that letting go feels like the hardest thing right now. I know it feels like you are giving up on something that could have been something that meant so much to you, but sometimes letting go is not giving up. Sometimes it is the most powerful act of self-respect. Sometimes it is the moment you finally choose your peace over your attachment, your growth over your comfort, your future over your past. And that choice, my beloved child, is what will set you free, not immediately, not all at once, but slowly, surely, in a way that rebuilds you stronger, wiser, more aligned than ever before. And one day you will look back at this moment not with pain, not with regret, but with understanding. You will see that this connection did not come into your life to break you. It came to awaken you. It came to show you parts of yourself that you needed to see. It came to prepare you for something greater. And when that greater thing arrives, you will not meet it as the same person who was once lost in confusion and attachment. You will meet it as someone who knows their worth, who understands their value, who no longer settles for anything less than what they truly deserve. And that is why this moment matters. That is why this pain has purpose. That is why this test is necessary, because it is shaping you into someone who is ready for what is coming next. My beloved child, now listen even deeper, because what you are about to realize will change the way you see this entire connection forever. This is the part most people never reach, because they stay stuck in emotion, they stay stuck in memory, they stay stuck in hope. But you are being pulled into truth, and truth does not always feel comforting at first. It feels sharp, it feels exposing, it feels like something inside you is being stripped away. And that is exactly what is happening, because this soul tie you are holding onto, it is not just about love, it is about attachment, it is about identity, it is about the version of yourself you became when they entered your life. And the reason it feels like you cannot break it is because somewhere deep inside you, you made them a part of your meaning. You made their presence equal to your peace. You made their attention equal to your worth. And now your soul is being challenged to separate those things, to understand that who you are was never supposed to depend on who they are. And this is the moment where everything either breaks you or builds you, because now you see it clearly, now you feel it deeply, now you cannot pretend anymore. And still there is a voice inside you that whispers, what if I just hold on a little longer? What if I just wait? What if something changes? But my beloved child, that voice is not your truth. That voice is your attachment trying to survive, because attachments fear endings, attachments fear silence, attachments fear the unknown. But your soul, your higher self, the part of you that is connected to God, is not afraid of release. It is not afraid of growth. It is calling you forward. It is asking you to trust something greater than your current emotions. And this is where the real separation begins, not between you and them, but between you and the version of yourself that cannot let go. And I know how difficult that is, because letting go is not just a decision, it is a process. It is something you have to choose again and again in your thoughts, in your actions, in your habits every single day, because there will be Moments when you feel strong, moments when you feel clear, moments when you feel ready to move on, and then suddenly a memory will hit, suddenly a song, suddenly a thought, suddenly a feeling, and it will feel like you are back at the beginning, but you are not back at the beginning. You are in the middle of breaking a pattern, and patterns do not disappear instantly. They weaken over time. Every time you choose not to feed them, every time you choose not to go back, every time you choose not to reopen what you already know is not aligned with your peace, and that is what you are being asked to do right now. Not to erase the connection, not to pretend it never existed, but to stop feeding it, to stop giving it power, to stop allowing it to control your direction, because the truth is, the more you hold on to something that is not meant for you, the more you delay what is meant for you. And this is the part you need to hear with complete honesty. If this person was truly aligned with your purpose, if this connection was truly meant to stay, it would not feel like this. It would not leave you in confusion. It would not leave you questioning. It would not require you to fight yourself just to maintain it. Real alignment does not create constant inner conflict. Real connection does not drain your energy and leave you searching for answers that never come. And I know that might hurt to accept, but that pain is part of your awakening. That pain is the breaking of illusion, because sometimes we fall in love with potential. We fall in love with what could be instead of what is. We hold on to the idea of a person instead of the reality of how they show up in our lives. And this soul tie, this deep emotional bond, has been built not just on what happened, but on what you hoped would happen, on what you imagined, on what you believed it could become. And now God is asking you to see the difference between reality and illusion, to see what is actually in front of you, not what your heart is trying to create. And that clarity is your freedom, because once you see something clearly, you cannot unsee it. Once you recognize a pattern, you cannot unknow it. And now the only thing left is your choice, your willingness to act on that truth, or to continue ignoring it and staying in the same cycle. And my beloved child, you did not come this far to stay stuck in a cycle. You did not grow through all of this just to go back to what broke you. You are being prepared for something higher, something more aligned, something that does not require you to lose yourself in order to feel connected, but in order to receive that you must create space. And creating space means releasing what is currently occupying your heart, your mind, your energy. Even if it once felt like everything, even if it once felt like the answer, even if a part of you still believes it might come back, because what is truly meant for you will never need you to abandon yourself. It will never need you to ignore your intuition. It will never need you to stay in a place of confusion just to keep it alive. And right now your intuition is speaking louder than ever. It is telling you the truth. It is showing you what you need to see, but you have to be willing to listen. You have to be willing to trust it over your temporary emotions, because emotions change, emotions rise and fall, but truth remains steady. Truth does not shift based on how much you miss someone or how strongly you feel connected. Truth is what aligns with your peace, your growth, your purpose. And the more you choose that truth, the more you align with the path that God is guiding you toward. And this is where your power fully returns. This is where you stop feeling like a victim of your emotions and start becoming the creator of your direction, because you realize that you are not controlled by this connection. You are not trapped by this soul tie. You are simply being tested through it. And once you pass that test, once you choose yourself fully, completely, without hesitation, the hold it has on you will begin to dissolve, not instantly, not magically, but steadily, in a way that feels real, in a way that feels earned, in a way that transforms you from the inside out. And one day, sooner than you think, you will wake up and realize that the person who once consumed your thoughts no longer has the same effect. The memories that once triggered you no longer control your emotions. The connection that once felt unbreakable now feels like something you have outgrown. And in that moment you will not feel loss. You will Feel freedom, you will not feel emptiness, you will feel peace, you will not feel confusion, you will feel clarity, because you will finally understand that this was never about holding on, this was about learning when to let go, this was never about them completing you, this was about you discovering yourself, this was never about losing love, this was about redefining what love truly means for you, and that realization, my beloved child, is the breakthrough that changes everything, because once you reach that point, you no longer chase, you no longer cling, you no longer settle, you become someone who attracts what is aligned, what is healthy, what is real, and when that enters your life you will recognize it immediately, not because it feels overwhelming, not because it feels chaotic, but because it feels peaceful, it feels clear, it feels right in a way that does not require you to question it, and until that arrives, trust this process, trust this separation, trust this test, because it is leading you somewhere greater than where you are right now, even if you cannot fully see it yet.